Hey, I'm Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in the game, the Great Split. I'm sorry I don't have a visual to show. Usually I've been doing this on my other screen, but StreamYard is acting a little weird right now. So I'm just going to talk about the Great Split, which I played recently on Board Game Arena. The Great Split is an I Cut You Choose game. That is what the split in the name is referring to. And beyond that, it's a game about moving up on tracks. You are cutting and choosing resource cards that are either moving you up on a resource track or on a multiplier track that at the end of the game or certain points during the game will multiply your resource score by your level of the multiplier track up to 4 times. So I can move up, if I move up all the way to the top of a multiplier track, I can multiply 4 by my status on one of the resource tracks. It's this I Cut You Choose part of the game that I think is the real highlight of the game for me. Although there are clever, streamlined aspects of the game that are great in this track movement and when you score different things. Sometimes you're scoring in the middle of the game, sometimes you're scoring at the end of the game. But the I Cut You Choose, I think, is done really well. Each player has this little envelope of cards, and they have a card that it's kind of a black card. It's the card that will be splitting the other cards. So you draw a hand, usually between 5 or 7 other cards. These have resources. These have various icons on them, resources and track movement, multiplier track movement. And all you do is you sort out those cards as you wish, and somewhere in the middle of those cards, you insert the cutting card, the black blank cutting card. And then you put all those cards in an envelope and you pass them to the player on your right. They pull them out and they choose 1/2 of the cut cards, and then they take all those cards and they pass the rest back to you with the card that you used to cut the cards. All that works really well. It feels kind of nice to, even in virtually on Board Game Arena, it feels neat to put them into the envelope. I think that would feel even better in person. But the real highlight here for me, the really clever aspect of it to me, is the cut card itself, the card that you're using to cut. Both in terms of its utility, its tactical or tactile utility, where you're actually inserting a card amongst other cards. That's great. But I also really like, and I didn't realize while learning about this game originally, that card itself is a wild, and you get to play that card. So I left out one thing. You are receiving the cards back from a player, but you're also cutting, or you are choosing from another player's cut pile yourself. So all those cards end up in one pile where you have around between 5 or 7 cards with either resources or multiplier tracks on them, and you have that card that you're using to cut. And the card that you're using to cut is, like I just said, a wild card. You can use it for a resource track, a multiplier track. You can use it for a coin track, or I believe just a victory point. So you can use it for a variety of things, whatever you need at that moment to maybe move just one step further on a track to make a difference for you. You can do that with that card itself, with that blank card. It's a wild card. I thought that was so clever that they used it not just to cut the cards, but also as potentially the most valuable resource you can have in the game, because it's anything that you need it to be or want it to be at that moment. That's my favorite mechanism in the Great Split. I think that's a really clever addition to this game. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you played the Great Split, what is your favorite mechanism in the game? And what do you like, especially if you played the tabletop version instead of just the digital version like I did on Board Game Arena? What did you love about it? Is there some component that I'm missing that I didn't get to see because I only played the digital version so far? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks.